There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Oh, look at them. Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with a Good Morning Portugal show, a live stream. Oh, there you are. Live stream and podcast. How are you this morning? It's Tuesday, the 20th of August, 2024. How's it going? Tudo bem? Como estás? It is still the silly season, and I think we can make that work to our advantage today. Silly season. I'm realizing after a few moons on this planet, and we had a big moon, didn't we, last night? Might say something about that. I think Lee likes to look at the stars. He's a natural guy, and he might have something to say about the blue supermoon. I was wondering whether to say super blue moon or blue supermoon last night. He might have. Well, he's got something to say about everything, of course, but he may have something particular to say. It's overrated, probably something like that, about the big moon last night that I'm sure would have lit up the capital where he is. He'll be joining us in just a moment. But it is silly season, isn't it? The time when the politicians are on holiday, and then I think because the politicians are on holiday, the big news, what would they be called? News agenda spinners, the news gatherers, they also go on holiday. So they leave I think Parliament is, tumbleweed blowing through the parliaments of the world, generally speaking. And in the TV studios and the newsrooms, they leave the juniors in charge, and you end up with a very different news agenda. And what we realize, I think, at this time of the year, is silly season. What is it? That's the worst review I've had for ages. Yawn, or is that because you've just got up? Global professionals in Portugal, I hope. Yeah. What we find is with the government on holiday and the journalists and news gatherers, the news creators on holiday too, the world is just going on very nicely anyway, isn't it? And we end up with jokes from the Edinburgh Festival and some really half-hearted news, but all to the good. Just goes to show, why don't we have a serious season for 2 weeks of the year when the politicians and news people are allowed to work just for 2 weeks, and the rest of the year can be lovely like this, like the silly season. Anyway, I wonder what Lee has to think about it. Let's give him a nice big round of applause. He's just sparked up a fag in Lisbon. How you doing, Lee?
Good morning, Carl.
How are you? Oh, nice. Coffee and cigarette before work starts. I'm guessing it's silly season in Lisbon. I've
already started. I've been doing 45 minutes. I've just stopped in to speak to you.
Are you parked up by the side of a motorway?
No, I'm on my earbud. Is it bad?
No, it's okay. It's bearable. Content is king, and you're the king of content. You've always got something interesting to say. I definitely want your view on a new idea that's circulating, which is that the people who own land and can't take care of it might lend it, lease it, rent it, whatever, come to an arrangement with people who want to work it. It's not a new idea, is it? But it might be one whose time has come.
Sounds like communism to me.
Okay, that was killed.
No, it's gone on forever, hasn't it? People have been doing each other's bits of land and plots of land forever. There was a scheme in the UK a few years ago where they tried to force people to sell the houses they didn't live in them. And
no. Hold on.
There's a slippery slope to that.
Of course, there is.
There's a slippery slope to it.
No forcing. There's got to be a sweet spot in the middle, hasn't there? There's an apathy about it in a free market, because what happens at the moment is some people who would like to get on the land can't afford to. And I mean, we've noticed, haven't we not, in the last few years, the biggest land grab, wealth grab, all the money's gone upwards, hasn't it, in the social tree, and which means that in the free market sense, if we have capitalism at one end and communism at the other, in capitalism, we're noticing that people haven't got access to the asset of land because it's being hoovered up by those who've got a few million quid knocking about. What were they going to do with that few million quid? They're going to buy everybody else's stuff, aren't they? So that's not working terribly well. And at the other end of the spectrum, completely agree with you. I do not want any compulsory purchase orders, and certainly let's not put the government in charge of this scheme, right?
Well, there was a new allotment development done there where I live on the other side of the river, about 5 years ago, and that's developed brilliantly. That has gone really well. So that's maybe
the secret of their success, do you think?
Oh, it was well organised, and it went to the right people. It went to the older generation who lived in the area for the longest. That's how they did the list.
Yes.
So I think that's worked perfectly. Yeah.
And that's one of the beautiful things about this country, of course, is we have a generation of people who still know how to grow food, don't we? Who might be able to teach the youngers a thing or two. And in other cultures, I think in the UK, those people seem to be an endangered species. Young aren't bothered because you can just go and buy food in the supermarket, and the ones who know how to do it die off, and then you end up with quite a gulf of an absence, a vacuum of education and ability.
Well, 15 years ago, we were doing the veggies at school schemes where we're putting veg beds and planters in schools. And it was a really good idea, but unfortunately, it pitters off in the summer holidays. Some of the schools managed to maintain it with summer school clubs where they could maintain it. But as you know, you can't leave it for 6 weeks in the heat of the summer, even in England, without watering and taking care of it.
Yes.
So.
Well, I guess that's another nod in the direction.
Well, it was a good idea to get kids to appreciate where the food comes from, and just go a little bit for the school kitchen. And then there was the big project in Todmorden. That's been going on for 25 years now.
Yeah.
Todmorden's a small area at the arse end of nowhere at the back of Manchester, and but they got great community involvement with it, and that's been going from strength to strength for years, and that's got a lot of young people involved in it. So that's really good.
Yeah, and I mean, they've achieved a critical mass from what I know about it. Enough people in the town have become aware of the benefits of becoming involved in your own food production, and that's a critical mass that I think that's useful to come to, because the supermarket culture, the supply chain, kind of hides that, doesn't it? So all interesting stuff, and yes, thank you for your,
if you really want my opinion on it, it's not the school's responsibility, it's not the government's responsibility, it's the parents' responsibility to teach your kids where the food comes from.
There you go. You sound like a proper old fart, and you're absolutely right.
Yeah, they've got enough to learn at school. Yeah. You know, they don't need to be taught how to grow tomatoes. That should be something done at home.
Yeah, fair enough. Vera, we can teach the veggie gardens idea too. Such fun. Children love it. They do, don't they? And especially when they get some quick results and they can take it from the soil to the plate. That's a really special moment, I think, when you've I mean, the inner child of everybody loves that, don't they, Lee? You know, when you've actually made something or created or co-created something yourself, and then you eat it. There's something about that wonderful circle of life.
Yeah. Just walking past and pulling a tomato off the vine, not when you're walking down your garden path, is perfect.
Yeah, or shilling a few peas. We love those moments. Louise is here now. Louise, that's better, you say. Louise is here. Good morning to you. We've got a very restricted Quinta crew. The lads have gone fishing for one reason or another. However, we do have Lee here. And of course, before you go, Lee, can you tell us what we should be doing in the garden at the moment? There's a lovely urban agriculture course I came across. Do people need such a thing? Is it worth studying an online urban agriculture course so that you can grow a bit of food on your balcony? Or is it just easy to do anyway?
YouTube University is free.
That's true. Yeah.
Do you really need to pay for a course to teach you how to Google? Because it's all there now. It's all at the tip of your fingers. And there's some fantastic channels.
Lee,
some fantastic channels on YouTube.
Course. We need to start a course teaching people how to Google effectively. Google do mess about, don't they, with the information that's available. It's true. I mean, if you want it all, you. I think this is quite a good idea, and it looks like quite good value as well. I've got no skin in this game. I'm not an affiliate or anything. It just came up. You know how Facebook listens to you. I was doing a bit of research, writing my Portugal resident article, and up came an article or a sales page about urban agriculture. But you think it's unnecessary?
Yeah, I've been involved in a couple of these courses back in the UK, and I never thought they were valued for money.
Okay.
They're just not. It's basics. It's basics. I did discuss it once over with Jason, because between us we could put something really good on.
True.
But then it's what do I want to charge for it? How much time out of work do I take to do it? And is it going to be value for money? You know, and when there's a multitude of channels you can follow. There's an Australian guy. His name's slipping me at the moment.
I think I know the guy you mean. Yeah, he was a pandemic guy, wasn't he? He was a photographer, and then he turned his hand.
Yeah, bearded guy.
Yeah, brilliant bloke.
Bearded guy. Yeah. But he's gone now into doing chickens and stuff like that as well. So, but their climate is perfect for Portugal's climate. You know, we share that. We have the same issues, so we can grow the same veg. So
very good.
Oh, his name's gone.
It may come back.
Anyway,
I'm with Lee on this one. So much info on the internet, but choose wisely. Nothing beats watching and learning from your Portuguese neighbours, which you always advise.
Yes, that is the best way to do it. Oh, and going back to the land sharing, you've lived here long enough. You must have seen the vegetables grow at the side of the motorways. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah. Like guerrilla gardening. People do take over patches, don't they, and crack on, which I think is a great idea.
Because you're only growing seasonal crops, if in 2 years they decide to dig the embankment out, you've not lost anything. You know, you've lost maybe that season if you weren't aware it was going to happen. So,
that's right. Yeah. And
it's a couple of clients I have over near Palmella. They do a lot within the expat community over there, and they've had veg picking days. You know, he's had guests round doing the grapevines, and it's all good fun. And they end up having a shandy at lunchtime. So there are people that are doing it. You know, there are people that are making the effort, and people that live in apartments and live in the inner city, they really do like to get out and just do a day without any commitment. So it's already happening.
I think you hit the nail on the head earlier on. It's about organisation, isn't it? It is about networking, connecting, and actually making something happen. For Cordelia here, whose event is tonight, a couple of great things happening in Caldash this evening. I'll tell you more about that later, as well as music from Ron Rogers and the best jokes from the Edinburgh Fringe. I'm guessing you'd like to hear those, Lee. Maybe we'll do those while you're still with us, because I want to see the look on your face. A lot of us parents are clueless about growing food. I've tried several gardens, and thankfully we were not dependent on that for our daily food. That is a big. You can't go from starting to grow to being self-sufficient in a season or even a week, can you?
No, but you can if you do it properly.
Yeah.
You can't go in a season to be self-sufficient. No, but you can over time build up, and you're never going to be self-sufficient. It just ain't going to happen. You'd have to give up work. You'd have to put all your effort into it. Well, you know, you bother because it's fun. You're not going to feed. You're going to starve. I've tried it. It doesn't happen that way. So,
but again, this is one of the problems about how this is put to people, isn't it? It's like you're either a wage slave going to the supermarket, not growing any of your own food, or you basically kill yourself becoming a self-sufficient pauper on the land. There's got to be something in the middle, Lee.
If Jason was here, he could tell you how much hard work it actually is to try and produce enough food so you don't have to buy. And he's still having to buy in stuff. So he's into the point now where he's got enough, potatoes or tomatoes to sell some, but then he's still got to go in and buy his rice in. And he's give up his job to become a land slave. He's working harder now than ever worked before. And not everybody's got it in them to do it. So
no, they haven't. To be fair, I guess he wouldn't have it any other way. But you have to go into that knowing what you're taking on. And I think again, collaboration is the key, isn't it? There must be a sweet spot in the middle among all these extremes that we seem to have created in our culture. We would literally be starving, continues Cordelia. Not even one courgette. They were all male plants. Rookie error there. It was a courgette sausage fest, but with no courgettes. Interestingly there. João Ernesto, thank you for that. We will go back to your wonderful video and stills from the new destination for the Gampa Portugal geographic bucket list, Marco da Fronteira número 1, at the extreme northeast corner of the northern Minho region. That's great. And also video from Antonio F this morning too. We've got to look at Deagle's patch as well. Carl, I have a small back garden in my office. I grow a decent amount of vegetables. Started off with pots, potato grow bags, and after 10 years, bought a greenhouse. Love the small growing with grandkids. There you go, getting the kids involved. And we showed the pictures.
That's perfect. That's actually, It started off small, couple of pots, and then slowly built it up. He's learned from his mistakes, and he's developed his experience and his knowledge, and now he's got a greenhouse, and it's perfect.
And we showed these pictures yesterday, but we'll show it again so you can see him, Lee. But he's shown his grandchildren that you can grow your own food, and that is priceless. I think what you've shared with your kids and grandkids there, and that's a pretty good crop. For one day's cropping and harvesting, that's not too bad at all there, Deagle. So good effort, mate. I think you get the badge, a seal of approval from Lee in Lisbon. So how's your day looking? What should we be doing in the garden? And then we'll treat you to some Edinburgh Fringe jokes. Thank you to Sarah for bringing my attention to those who's with us this morning. Sarah's Energetics, who sponsor my face. No jokes there, please, Lee. So what should we, not the bruised bit where I fell into the laundry bin a couple of days ago.
I banged my head this morning on the shed door. So
did you?
I've got a bruise coming up as well.
Did you scream out in agony like I did?
I might have swore. I can't repeat it on the show.
You probably did. You probably did. So, right, what should we be doing in our own gardens at the moment?
Well, the good news is absolutely nothing.
Woohoo!
It's gone 9 o'clock. Find some shade and sit in it and enjoy the view. Get out. Well, if you've got to cut your grass, get out early and do it, or leave it till late in the evening. Do nothing in the heat of the day. With this sun out now, the weeds should be, although they're not, they should be going dormant. Everything should be going dormant this time of year. Although your fruit trees might need a bit of care at the moment. If you've had pest problems, you should really be just checking on them. Again, spray them in the morning before the bees are out, or spray them later in the evening when the bees have gone to bed. Okay. But just take it easy for the next 3 or 4 weeks. It'll soon be September, and then it'll be October. Then you can get busy.
And what's going on with this weather, Lee? I'm disgusted here on the Silver Coast. It's been raining for the last 2 or 3 days. The mist.
Oh, I know.
What's going on, mate?
My brother-in-law was up your way last weekend.
Yeah. And
they said it was 20 degrees and miserable. I was so jealous. I was so jealous. I actually took Sunday off because it was too hot. I didn't work Sunday. I had to cancel my Sunday because it was just Saturday was too much. Last Friday, it was 39 in the shade here, or 37 in the shade. It's just ridiculous.
It's the wrong way round. I mean, of course, we get the Atlantic sea breeze. That's why it's cooling down so much here. But you'd love this weather where you're working, and we'd love your weather so that we can get all our kit off and run into the sea.
Oh, I would love it to be raining at the moment. Yeah. I'm not enjoying this at all.
Okay, well, the same here for different reasons, and I'm hoping we will get something of a late summer, a San Martinho summer, as the Portuguese call it, a late summer this year, right into November, into early November. So we'll have some of that, please. Right, those jokes before you go. The Edinburgh, for me, have you ever been to the Edinburgh Festival? You love Scotland, don't you? You lived up in Scotland.
I've lived up in Scotland, and I've been in and out of Edinburgh quite a bit, but I've always avoided the tourist seasons. It's not mine. Edinburgh's not my cup of tea, but it's full of tourists.
Right. Okay. For me, the best thing to come out of the Edinburgh Festival is the Edinburgh Fringe, and particularly a subset of that are the Edinburgh Fringe jokes, where they claim to have the best jokes from the festival, which are published in the silly season. While the politicians and news gatherers are quiet, we get some great jokes coming from Edinburgh. So to set the scene, in case you're not familiar with it, a ship gag, SHIP, was crowned the funniest joke, and we'll hear it this morning. Thanks, Sarah, for pointing this our way, albeit from CNN, who are still busy at work. The funniest joke from the Edinburgh Fringe, British comedian Mark Simmons wins the You and Dave joke of the Fringe 2024. A witty pun about a sailing trip has been crowned the funniest joke told at this year's Edinburgh Festival Fringe. Now, if you're a comedian, stand-up, this must be amazing to get that accolade. Thousands of performers flock to Scotland's capital each year to entertain and delight crowds at the Fringe. British entertainment channel You and Dave, owned by British broadcaster UK TV, has handed out the funniest joke of the Fringe Award for the last 15 years. So let's see what those top 10 jokes were this year. I think we should come back to that number one joke in reverse order. Now, I think I created this joke a long time ago, but Olaf Falafel, the brilliantly named Olaf Falafel, said the conspiracy theory about the moon being made of cheese was started by the Illuminati. He's unruffled. So far, Lee is unruffled. Joke number 9. My partner told me that she'd never seen the film Gaslight. I told her she definitely had. That's Zokum's Ma. I'm just popping back to see your face. Not funny for Lee, that. Okay, Masai Graham. I wanted to know which came first, the chicken or the egg. So I bought a chicken, then I bought an egg, and I think I've cracked it, Lee. No. Can you hear me?
It's the Edinburgh Fringe. It's shocking. These comedians pay to be there. There's a reason they pay to be there.
Come on, I think you're setting the bar a little bit too high. We've got 7 more jokes to go. Maybe you're saving yourself. Chelsea Birkby. British etiquette is confusing. You might like this. British etiquette is confusing. Why is it highbrow to look at boobs in an art gallery, but lowbrow when I get them out in Wetherspoons? Lee, come on.
Well, come on. You tell me a decent one, and then I might giggle.
All right, 6 more to go. Olaf Falafel, he's in there twice. My dad used to say to me, pints, gallons, litre, which I think speaks volumes. Okay.
That's quite witty. That's quite witty.
Into the top 5 now. Mark Simmons, I love the Olympics. My friend and I invented a new type of relay baton. Well, he came up with the idea and I ran with it. Actually, your face is funnier than some of these jokes. Arthur Smith, the great Arthur Smith. I sailed through my driving test. That's why I failed it. Right. Into the top 3. Alex Kitson. 8 horse at a restaurant once. Wasn't great. Starter was all right, but the main was dreadful. Lee the main. M-A-N-E. Top 2 now. Alex Snook.
I'm laughing at you laughing. Is that bad?
I'm laughing at me laughing as well. I've been taking salsa lessons for months. Now, I want you to use at least one of these and then send me a picture of the person laughing or you and them laughing. This might be the one. I've been taking salsa lessons for months, but I don't feel like I'm progressing. It's just 1 step forward, 2 steps back, Lee. And the winner, Mark Simmons. I was going to sail around the globe in the world's smallest ship, but I bottled it.
Is that the best Edinburgh's got?
Oh dear.
Just think of all those poor Americans that have paid a fortune to go and watch the Fringe and have to listen to that rubbish.
When they could have just waited.
I feel so sorry for them.
So sorry. That's an apology from Lee on behalf of the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. Lee, come on, was some of the commentary during that. Cordelia liked the good math gig. Brilliant. And I am laughing more at Lee's expressions than the jokes. Yeah, I think I was too. Lee, thank you for being here.
Comes up with better one. T-Duck comes up with better ones.
He does, doesn't he? Dear T-Duck.
And it is a bad.
I know it. Right. Okay. So it is a bad, absolutely. So final word of wisdom or a joke from you to finish off with.
Oh, I can't tell you my jokes online.
No, that's true.
I'll save it. I'll save it for the end of the month.
Okay, yes, very good. See you then. Anything else you do want to share with us? How is Lisbon? I mean, silly season. It's going to be nice and quiet. Good time to visit, right?
Oh no, God, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
What, tourists? For the
It's well,
tourists?
yeah, and I've been getting all the beach traffic. Oh, I've not. I don't go into the city in August. I don't venture into the city at all during August if I can really help it.
See, it
But
used to be a good time.
my birthday's coming up.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, when I was a tourist, I used to love it. I used to love
Yeah.
going in when it was crowded, and there was a real atmosphere, and I really enjoyed it. Now I live here.
Yeah.
I'd rather go in winter when it's dead and raining, and just get done what I need to do and get out. But I'm out for dinner on Wednesday with Eric.
Very good. Love to
Eric and Pat, one of the yeah. So I'll have to go into the city on Wednesday night. I'm looking forward to dinner, but I'm not looking forward to having to go into the city on
Okay, give our love to
Wednesday night in
Capital.
August.
Great to see you. It's and there's a little bit of medical advice for you. You need to go to the doctor to see if you've lost your funny bone. Another one quick snuck in there by Deagle. Still not laughing, Lee. Thanks, mate. Take care. Have a great day in Lisbon. Ciao, ciao. Bye for now. There we go. And fantastic advice from Lee. Do very little in the garden. Mow your lawn early. Take care of your gardening tasks, and then take it easy for the rest of the day. How about that? Let me just get things lined up on the screen. You'll have to put up with me. Oh, and Ron Rogers for the rest of the show this morning. Thanks to Jason for his amazing and continued service to this show. However, today having a day off. And Matty, we're not going to get Quinta Crew update because we've also got Matty who's busy as well. But the lads, I think, will be back as the weather calms down as we move towards the autumn. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to come and chat and talk about what's going on at their respective plots. Cheers, Lee. Have a great day in Lisbon. And in the melee there, forgot to say good morning officially to everybody. So let's do that now. And I'll say a bit more about this idea, this Terramor idea, a dating agency, the Plenty of Fish for land lovers and land owners. Let's see if that's a goer. And let's maybe see if we can get our first love match on the show this morning. Is there somebody with a bit of ground that you're struggling to maintain, or do you know somebody with a bit of ground that they're struggling to maintain? And can we put them in touch with some potential growers who will obviously share crop on that particular piece of land, and that'll be a win-win, as Gary called it on Facebook the other day. And it's the subject of my Portugal resident article. Have you seen the recent one, Portugal in the fourth turning? What did you make of that? I think we're getting there, folks. Portugal 2030. We're making our way towards Portugal 2030. Others have agendas for 2030. Why shouldn't we have our own? Excuse me. Bom dia, meus amigos, e feliz terça. Back to some sort of normality today, with training, and the grandkids have gone home then, with training and coaching this afternoon. Hope you had a lovely birthday yesterday, Coach Turner, and Maria and Katia. Temperature still, and sorry about the singing that we did yesterday. Another public apology there. Apology to Americans who go to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival and are subjected to such jokes, and also to the singing that we tried to do yesterday. I tried to put the words on the screen. Me, Vitor, and James were all looking at the words in a different time zone to each other, and it was a terrible mess. It's also a short that was released yesterday with a public apology. Temperature still in the low 20s there in the UK and Hertfordshire. So perfect for a workout for the coach, who is urging us with his God Squad tip of the day for those of us with a little more time in our hands, fitting in 30 to 60 minutes of walking should be easy. Remember, it doesn't have to be in one chunk. Now, talking of chunks, if you're not comfortable with the phrase skinny dip, you might prefer a chunky dunk, which I thought was rather clever. So yeah, we're not going skinny dipping, we're going chunky dunking. As you all know by now, says Coach Turner, I will take a walk, buddy, to the coffee shop most mornings. 15 minutes there, 15 minutes back. Anything extra is a bonus. Is there somewhere you can walk to every day? I bet there is. And James is here as well, of course, this morning, an old guy in Europe. How did the filming go yesterday, James? He's not the old guy in Europe. He's an old guy in Europe, which you pointed out to me. Noted, James. Bom dia, Gumpers. Feliz terça a todos. Como é o vosso dia? How's it going? And yeah, let us know how that filming went yesterday. Were you successful? No, you did the filming, didn't you? And I forget now. How did your day go yesterday, James? Hola, bon dia from Lord Travancore. All rise for the Lord. Maybe see you tonight, Barak, as well. It is the Portugal Club online social. If you're one of our beloved supporters, a member of the Portugal Club, and you can join up for that at GMP VIP. See you tonight at 8:30 for a bit of a drink. Nothing serious, not a webinar, just hanging out. And I guess there's a bit of mutual support, mutual aid. And we do have a go round of, has anyone got anything to offer? Has anyone got any needs that need satisfying? We can satisfy most, not all, I hasten to add. But that's a nice social at 8:30 this evening. See you there, Barack, I hope. Bon dia, Carl and Gumpers from the dry Belfast. Maybe 2 hours till the rain comes in. All day, Wednesday and Thursday, heavy rain too. So get that wee job done outdoors, or it's waiting for you this weekend. Good advice there, Deagle, for anyone living in Belfast. Bon dia a todos. Antonio F. Let's play your video now and come back to the greetings this morning in just a moment. Very thoughtful of you to share these with us. Happenings. I was going to call them shenanigans. That would be disrespectful. This from Antonio. Beautiful things happening up there in the northeast of Portugal. And we've got a lot of footage and action and great things to do in the north of Portugal. We had Philomena up that way, stayed at an amazing Airbnb, which I will add to our resources somewhere. And she stayed in that fantastic Hobbit home, which had a fantastic interior too. Here she is with Bob and Viv, of course, and Paolo. And they're beautiful. Philomena and Paolo's beautiful little granddaughter there. I think they had a lovely time there up in the north and with those superstars, Bob and Viv. Thank you very much for that picture. Back to Antonio F. and the northeast of Portugal now. Antonio saying, here's a video of a procession in a small village in northeastern Portugal. You can play it on GMP if you want. So I will. Thank you very much, Antonio, for thinking of us, sending it to 913-590-303. Music to come today from Ron Rogers. We've done those jokes. Sorry about that. And maybe talk about the supermoon. If you've got any pictures of the moon from last night, you might want to send on 913-590-303, the number that Antonio used to send us this video.
Eu tenho dado mesmo mal da gripe, não está, mas já fiz o teste, não há nada de especial, não. Isso é que é importante. Já sei. Comprou-me cedo, ligou-me todo o plano, vai só que comprou na vila. Eu pensei que era algum problema que eu pudesse ser arranjado lá com não estava estranho. Ele trata de uma maneira e os outros tratam de outra maneira, e eu digo assim, estou lá, ela diz que vai.
Wow, that's amazing. And it wouldn't be complete in any festa situation, celebration, a happy holiday in Portugal to complement the sacred with the profane. So there's always going to be a booze up, I think, later on in the day, whenever you see a procession of that kind here in Portugal. And here's just a few seconds of the partying later on that same day. And the key, let me just play that again. See, this is the beautiful homecoming effect that happens in Portugal at this time of year. People come back to the village from all over the world. Am I right in saying this, Antonio? I imagine the standing population of that little village is not huge. And then come the holiday, come the festivity that's locked into the social calendar of that location, people come home from all over the world to be there. The population swells, people get together, and they have the most fabulous time together. Isn't that a lovely tradition? Isn't that a wonderful thing to do? For us foreigners, immigrants, it's probably something we're not doing, and it's just something we can look on with love and wonder and awe that is something that is enshrined in Portuguese culture and is truly a beautiful thing. I guess the important thing to do is go to your local festa and be there, and you will be welcomed, I suspect, in that local atmosphere, and see what you can do to be a part of it, such that it continues and remains an important part of the Portuguese culture. So we're not even giving you the name of that little village of Antonio. And that video sent from Antonio there. But that's what happens. Beginning of the day, beautiful procession during the day, and then partying in the evening, and people getting together to celebrate, affirm, and just revel in their local and traditional culture. That's absolutely wonderful. More of a movable feast now, and we saw the Vuelta, the Iberian tour, I guess you might call it, whizzing through Alcobaça, thanks to Pam, who's also here this morning. And we've got another angle on it in Batalha. This is where Wayne went, and he's allowed us to republish this on our GMP TV channel, which is made of smaller clips, not all the live shows, but smaller clips and highlights. This is certainly a highlight in Portuguese culture when the Vuelta came through Batalha. And I think this is a stronghold of one of the favourites. João Almeida is one of the favourites in the Vuelta. And this is why the home crowd were cheering for him here. Like I said yesterday, the logistics of that are amazing, aren't they? Thousands of kilometers covered, and they have to just keep laying it's like the animation, isn't it? The cartoon movie you see where somebody, the protagonist or the antagonist or both, are in a train, and the tracks are being laid in front of them as they hurtle towards peril. And this is what's happening with these tours, isn't it? People are going ahead, clearing the way. It comes through. Then it's just like it's never been there. Quite amazing. And causing disruption, a stir, and inspirational athletic activity, as you could see from that footage there, which Wayne waited 2 hours to capture 20 seconds off. So good effort. Thank you very much for that. We'll come back to your wonderful submission, what your correspondence to us, João Ernesto, in just a moment, because it's excellent and it's somewhere I've never seen or heard of here in Portugal, and something for people to add to their ever-growing list of things to do here in Portugal. Where did we get to? Bom dia todos from Antonio, I think, who also tells us, João Ernesto himself with a Bom dia Portugal at 9:01 this morning. Come back to your footage and stills in just a moment. The week-long forest fire in Madeira, did you see that? It's still on. And some tourists don't follow instructions and keep going to the mountains. Be careful. Not a good time to go to that part of Madeira. Fogos.pt, I suspect, does cover the autonomous regions, the islands, as well as the mainland. Just check it. If you're going to Madeira, be careful and make sure you know what you're letting yourself in for over there. It's pretty tragic what's going on there. A week-long forest fire in very difficult terrain for the Bombeiros to get to. Thank you, João Ernesto, for urging everybody to hit the like button this morning, and to like the hit button as well. Actually, no liking of hitting here, by the way, unless it, of course, it is the like button. Bon dia from Sarah's Energetics. Sorry, Sarah, I have ruined your work on my face with this bruise that I picked up a couple of nights ago as I fell into the laundry basket. Cordelia, a little bit tired, has explained that comment. It's not a review of the show. It's that you've just got up, and looking forward to an exciting evening tonight, I suspect, of networking and collaboration. That will be the Meet and Mingle tonight in Caldas de Rainha. Today, of course, the 20th of August, between 5 and 7. With a wine by organic wine producers Cortain, created, of course, by the wonderful Emersons over there. Chris, the amazing Chris, dearly missed, is Chris, who started Cortain and now run by some of the same team. So you'll get a warm welcome at Cortain, and you'll be able to enjoy some of their wines at the Meet and Mingle tonight. So it's not being held at Cortain, but if you get in touch with Cordelia, who I'm sure will put a link into the chat, you'll be going to Caldas de Rainha tonight. Go to Cortain another time, but you will be able to try their wine this evening. Oh, talking of wine as well, I thought this was quite good, a good meme. This is what we opened with. Back in the good old days when kids looked 45, that sort of thing really happened, didn't it? And people were, have you got a picture of yourself in a tie when you were just 4 years of age? That's not what I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you this. Oh, sweet chilled white wine. Sorry, Guns N' Roses. But I thought that was hilarious. And yes, Michael, I think that must be the UK, where that's how the wine would be advertised. It's sweet and it's chilled. Which is, I hope they've got more to say about it than just that, but that's what gets the punters in, isn't it? Where were we? Oh, we were in Caldas a meet and mingle from 5 until 7, and then you can hot foot it, or you can overlap and mix and mingle some more with Heather from Boots on the Ground. Proceeds to Rede Leonardo, the pet rescue charity, and you can head from the meet and mingle to Tiger Belly and have some Asian fusion food in a gastropub in Caldas, where Heather Binder will be hosting a networking evening for expats and locals meeting up as well. The emphasis there on expat and locals there. Feel free to enjoy food and drinks at your own expense there between 6 and 8. A nice overlap of good things to do in Caldas in Silver Coast, Portugal this evening. Back to the chat then. Are there tons of people who want to work the land but can't? I'm not saying there are tons. I think there are quite a few, and there may be time still to talk about this today. I think there are quite a few who would like to adopt that sort of lifestyle, but are caught up, as I would describe me and Mrs. M being in that condition. We have a beautiful community garden in Caldas. Okay, very good. And I imagine that's open to the community to work on. I think the important thing with these things is that they are local. So that's good for the community in Caldas. That wouldn't be brilliant for us. I'll come back to that land sharing idea in just a moment. Right. Okay, we covered the week-long forest fire in Madeira. Be careful if you're going over there. Morning to you, Deagle, Sarah, Antonio, and Cordelia, Joao Ernesto, Jacqueline Branco also with us this morning. Good morning from Gayrash. Lovely message about your daughter on social media this morning. So it was lovely to see that, Jacqueline Branco. And Bon dia Lee. Sorry, I didn't include that in time. From Antonio F. CPL is here. Good morning to you. Hola, bon dia, alegria a todos. Louise here. I actually remembered that it is the third Tuesday. A cooler 34 degrees due here today in central Portugal. Okay. So Louise, Paul, Louise, and Lottie also CPL. Thank you very much for that. Jackie, the humble crafter, also in, as is Pam. And bon dia from Pam. From the Sabonado de Claravel local holiday in Alcobaça and the start of 6 days of party. Just can't get enough here in Portugal. One of two messages from João Ernesto about the northeastern corner of the Minho northern region. We're talking about specifically the Marco de Fronteira número 1. And João Ernesto continues. The Marco de Fronteira número 1 is a little bridge, only 6 meters wide, that spans a stream marking the east border with España. The stream flows into the Minho River, the north border, just 30 meters on. So I'll tell you what, let's take a look at it now, thanks to João Ernesto, who captured some footage for us a couple of days ago. This is fantastic. And I don't know if you're meant to do it quite as João Ernesto is doing it here. Now, did João Ernesto walk through that tunnel upside down? Here's a still of it, if that made you dizzy and you couldn't quite see what was going on there. We're talking about this place geographically, and you can see the Spain-Portugal border there. That's not Cascais, which you might be forgiven for thinking at first glance. We're talking about a place called near Quintela, just up from the caves there, the Gruta, and just in the little peak of that borderline there, and just looking at it, that was topographically on the map. Here's Pam, the lovely Pam, in that area there. And there's some, looks like some hill tribe that you've caught bathing in the stream there. And there's the long shot of the crossing that João Ernesto made live for us on that footage right there. Looked like you were doing it upside down, John. Okay, and a little bit more video footage, but that's fantastic, isn't it? To be able to cross the border like that between Spain and Portugal on a little bridge of that kind. Let's have a look at some more footage that you sent to us of that. Where are we? Quite a lot on the bulging mail sack this morning. 913-590-303. Oh yeah, here's a bit more footage from John.
That's the bridge that just crossed a minute ago. And this creek flows down and into the Minho. And of course that's Spain on the other side, but it's also Spain where Pam's standing.
Fantastic. Thank you, John. That's beautiful. Stick that on your list. If you want that, just drop me a line, 913-590-303 if you want that location. But just one more time then, northeastern Portugal, there's the map. And that's where John was, where you see the purple arrow there. You parked near here. That's reassuring to know sometimes. Okay, back to your greetings this morning and a little bit of chat about this idea to connect landowners with land lovers and see if we can maybe come up with our first love match of that kind. There are plenty of fish for land lovers, Terramor. But I'm not going to do that until we've made sure we've said hello to everybody and gone through a few more of your comments from what we've been talking about this morning. Yeah, thank you for being here, Vera, as well. And thank you to you, Deagle, for your commentary about what you've been growing in your garden there. Yes, Vera said earlier on, we can teach that veggie gardens idea too. Such fun. Children love it. And Cordelia wishes that she wanted to work the land, but just... has had a go. I think you need a little bit of help from Lee, and you might want to watch a few of our back episodes of the Get Out and Grow show that we used to do on a Monday evening. It was great fun, wasn't it, Louise and Deagle, who used to join us for that, where Lee would do a Q&A. I think we do need to bring that back at some point, and I don't think it will take too much convincing of Lee. Just to buy him a case of beer and sit him in the garden and ask him questions. I think that will work. Soil to plate, we were talking about. Soil to mouth is much tastier, and I think Lee referred to that as well. And you go on to say there, Louise, with Lee on this one, so much info on the internet, but choose wisely. Nothing beats watching and learning from your Portuguese neighbours. That is such good advice. Thank you very much for that. Pam, however, that's the reason why we moved from the countryside to the city. Are you not growing anything at all, Pam? Working the land was not the lifestyle for us. What was the problem with that, Pam, that you encountered? Is it this thing of there not being a middle ground that Louise goes on to talk about in just a moment? It's so extreme, isn't it? It's like we're either like the proverbial wage slave buying from the supermarket, or we're killing ourselves laboring, doing hard labor on the land. There must be something in the middle there. I'd love to see more teamwork between communities rather than just families. So if no one in my family knows how to grow anything, my kids could still learn. Absolutely. It is the extended family that reaches out into the community. In a time when it seems that families have become more and more nuclear and smaller, down to one person, like basically, yeah, one person, the preponderance or the growth of the one person unit, which we could call a family, the family of one. We do need, don't we? We need each other, and it takes a village to raise a child, etc. And maybe that trend will change in this fourth turning, which I think we're going through at the moment. There is a middle ground, says Louise, which is sufficiency in the seasonal foods that you can grow. Yeah, okay, even in pots, and buying from markets, farm shops, supermarkets for the harder to grow items. There's your hybrid right there. Oh, sorry, Jackie, missed this. Please ask Lee if polytunnels are a good or a bad idea in Portugal. Thanks, mate. A stufa, is that what they're called? Literally stuffed with fruit and veg. People do have them. Jason has a polytunnel, a massive one. And in fact, I think when he was picking it up, there was some connection with Good Morning Portugal. Are you the bloke off Good Morning Portugal? Yes, says Jason, when he was picking up a polytunnel. I think that was how the story went. And yes, he does. They do get very hot, of course, here in Portugal, but people do use them here. There's a massive polytunnel village, almost a town between here and Caldas de Rainha. In fact, it is a form of growing here, but you've got to be careful. A lot of them have shading inside, and you've got to keep them well watered because of literally the greenhouse effect, Jackie. So yes, I'll answer that on Lee's behalf there. You can have them, but you've got to know what you're doing. You've had rain in San Martino, says Pam. It's been hot and sunny here. Yeah, I can still see rain on the trampoline outside and the table tennis table through the studio window. Barak, I'm happy to trade your rain and mist for our blue sky. This is what I'm talking about. No clouds and 35 or 37 during the day. Such diverse climate here in Portugal at the moment. Not the summer people were expecting, that's for sure, here in San Martinho de Porto. A bit disappointing, I would say, for tourists coming here. Bon dia, Antonio F., my beautiful friend. Hope you're having a lovely start to the day. And Louise says, yes, Jackie, polytunnels are better nearer the coast or in the north of Portugal. In the central eastern region, the UV is too intense, so the plastic doesn't last more than a couple of years. There you go. And yes, people cover them up, don't they, in the most intensely hot times. The best thing to come out of Edinburgh was the road. Oh, harsh. And also, your polytunnel may need shading to stop plant scorching. There you go. I think we've covered that. Now, Edinburgh, full of tartan shops and the smell of whiskey, very touristy. That's what some people go for, Deagle. And Lee, come on. Yeah, Lee, he kept a straight face, didn't he? He had his old poker face on there during the Edinburgh Fringe jokes. Thank you, Sarah, for sending those our way and sending us the link. That was great. I live, as Lee advises, every day, minus the garden maintenance stuff. Not tempted at all, James, to grow something? I've done, apart from your own personal growth, I've done singing on Zoom before. It's always hilarious and very challenging and difficult, right? I walk into town, have a look at the monastery, then walk along the river to the Park Verde. You have a beautiful green park there, the Park Verde, don't you, in Alcobaça? Our family loves it over there. And hit that like button, says Antonio. I think Pam is responding to the God Squad tip of the day. So I think having a look at the monastery, then walking along to the river, that's probably 30 minutes, as indicated by the coach there. It was an audio-visual definition of cacophony, the singing yesterday. Yeah, that's a pretty good review. And the filming was on Friday, coming to a screen near you this coming Friday. So that'll be episode 11 of An Old Guy in Europe. And there's the weather forecast. We've got the continued weather forecast. Going to be an okay 16 degrees high. Had a big heating on yesterday. Central heating system was talking of lighting our fire. I need some punctuation, Deagle. Talking of lighting our fire to keep the chill out of the house. That's what will be nice here, actually, with this Silver Coast mist, a nice open fire in the evenings. And part of the procession, says Antonio, of the clip I played earlier on, was in the small village. We are going to name it Macedo do Cavalheiros in northeastern Portugal. And that party that you saw 7 seconds of ended at 2 a.m. in the morning. That's quite early, I think, isn't it? These villages receive their relatives that work all over Europe. In this village, most immigrants live and work in France and or Spain and Luxembourg. And that was the pattern I'm talking about, but still come home in the summer to get together and honour that annual event. Pilgrimage, basically, isn't it? João Almeida is from Caldas. Oops, okay. I was told he was from Batalha, Pam, and that's why Wayne went there. Okay, Caldas and Batalha fighting over João Almeida there. Months of preparation for 30 seconds of action. Like some people's love lives. Is it the same in? It is the same in our aldea. Usually no more than 10 inhabitants, but at Festa Ferias time there are 30 plus. Fantastic. Love that. I love that about Portugal. Yesterday was Luzão to Castelo Branco, goes into Spain today. Thank you for keeping us up to date on the next stage of the Vuelta there. And thanks for the mention. Not at all, Cordelia. Credit where it's due. And I think you're doing an amazing job with your networking, as is Heather. So you have two things to go to in Caldas tonight if you want to get out and meet more people. In tonight's chat club, we are discussing how we learn new vocabulary. Pop the link in the chat, please, if you want to, Pam. And bon dia told us from Jim. Hello, Jim. How are you? Good to see you here. I'm seeing empty lots in inner cities being converted into neighborhood gardens. That's fantastic. In the US. Okay, well, that's there's something in the air, is there not? I mean, it's like canaries in the coal mine. When people start growing their own food, it's a kind of indication that something is in the air, I think. And some canaries are more sensitive than others. Yes, plan to be there tonight. Remind me to discuss bargaining or haggling prices. Okay, well, that'll be our conversational theme tonight. Bargaining and haggling. I have questions. Bring them tonight to the Portugal Club. Booze up. No, networking session. Just a thought on Terramor, says Louise. It might be worth speaking to your local freguesia to see if they have land that needs work, maintenance, planting, loving. Excellent. And I will put that to our man shed. That's such a good idea to be married or connected with our men's shed. here in San Martino de Porto, because I don't know if I've mentioned it recently, but the men's shed are currently involved, and it's really good. The last meeting I went to had such a great atmosphere, and it's hit the ground running thanks to the wonderful Josh, the Renaissance man Josh, who can also play the ukulele. He came up with the idea. We talked about it on the show here. Adverts were put around the town, and now we get a lot of blokes turning up, very supportive, friendly atmosphere, and they're building, I think it's subgroups who are building a little handful of public libraries, a little box in the street where you can leave a book, take a book. In fact, when I was in, where were we the other day? Rio Mayo. There was a phone box version where I picked up this classic book, El Maestro Cocinero. So we'll have some of those in San Martino de Porto soon when the men's shed have built them. But maybe one other project we could get involved with is taking care of some local land. Great idea, Louise. Thank you very much for that. Glad we talked about that this morning. I'd just rather spend my time doing other things and buy food, says Pam. Fair enough. Fair enough. Igualmente, says James as well. Takes all sorts, doesn't it? For sure. And yeah, that's one of the sort of misapprehensions I think that we've been laboring under in this part of the Industrial Revolution, is that we should all do everything, which is impossible and exhausting. That location is also famous, says João Ernesto, up there on the Portuguese frontier for its contraband trade over the centuries. Not so much anymore, because you can just drive a white van now along the motorway. There is a statue commemorating the Camino, the Contrabando. Wow. Windy and low clouds in Erie Stadium today, so much like Santa Cruz, California. Love it, says James. Got that music to come from rockin' Ron Rogers in just a moment. When we go to San Martino, we can see the bank of mist hovering over the coast. Hopefully not every day. That was regarding the cycling. What was that? Igualmente. I don't know. Preparation and 30 seconds, not love life. Oh, I see. Yes. Okay. Lots of preparation and then just 30 seconds. Just a point of order there. That was about the filming and not a reference to anyone's love life. Inner city gardens have been, including rooftops, have been developed for over 20 years in the US. Not overwhelmingly, but definitely something that's been happening. And I predict more of that. Hit that like button, folks, if you haven't done it already. Read about my idea. Well, it's not my idea, actually. It's an idea which I would like to put some weight behind, which is this Terramor idea of it's a dating site. I'm very happy to mediate those relationships if people want to send a pocket of the idea of a pocket of land, or the reality of a pocket of land that they're struggling to cope with, and would welcome people to come and work it. I realize, we have quite a big country to manage in that regard, but let's start that journey of 1,000 steps with a single step, with a single project, and see if we can marry up some people who'd like some food grown on a piece of land that they can't maintain themselves, and give access to people who would dearly love to have that opportunity. Terramor, everybody. Yes, my own personal shout out. Longer term, no hurry, but if you do have a quinta or land that you'd like to lease out for a few years, me and Mrs. M wouldn't mind having a look at that. And if it's not suitable for us, it might be suitable for somebody else as part of this Terramor project. Right, let's go to rockin' Ron Rogers now and close out the show with his wonderful new tune. He sent me 2 new tunes recently, and I will feature both. I love to play Ron Rogers music. Today it will be "The Wind Has a Right Away," and we'll squeeze in your other tune on another occasion. Rockin' Ron. Today we'll go with the tune that people can find on Bandcamp, and I will put the link as we play the tune. So let me bring it onto the screen, and hopefully the audio will play as well. I think I've got the settings right for this. Let's go to Ron, who of course lives in Porto, makes music in Porto. And if you look at the small print on the website here, you will see that one of our other dear musical friends, Michael Bliss, is playing the keys on this as well. So there's a lot of talent in this tune, as you're about to hear right now. Have a great day. And we'll be back tomorrow with Raquel and Nuno, our mate Nuno Mensch, and our pal Raquel from Lighthouse Consulting. If you want to start a business here in Portugal, come chat with her about that. And if there's anything you want to know from our dear mate Nuno, join us on tomorrow morning's Good Morning Portugal show. Take it away, Ron.
Yeah, you can rail against the righteous till black is white and right is wrong. You can make all your speeches till there's not a word left to say. But in the end, the wind has got the right way. Well, you can batten down the hatches and nail down all your doors. You can harness it and pimp it like a stable of 6-street horse. You can call it Mariah, but no matter what you do or say, in the end, the wind has got the right way. Yeah, it's all an illusion, no matter how hard you pray. The immaculate delusion, your idols with me to play. My granddaddy always told me, my granddaddy always told me, in the end the wind has got the right way. This song has no future. This song, it has no past. No precious memories or long dark shadows to cast. It flies like a spirit in and out of my mouth, rolling and tumbling from the northwest down to the south. Yeah, it's all an illusion, no matter how hard you pray. The immaculate delusion, your idols with me to play. My granddaddy always told me, my granddaddy always told me, in the end the wind has got the right way. It's got the right way.
Thanks, Ron. Great job. Fantastic.